Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Be Good Leadership. I am Ronnie Caldwell, and we're talking about all things leadership, especially in education, in your life, and just how to be good for those that you lead. Today, we're going to talk about warmth. So, the two things that seem to influence others and make people to make people great leaders and people that that they're charismatic or people that other people want to follow. There's two things: warmth and competence. And what I want to say today is that warmth is extremely important in education. The ability to come off as warm, the ability to actually practice real warmth, meaning you care about people, meaning that people feel like you genuinely care about them. Students want that way more than they initially care about your competence, especially as a leader. Teachers the same way, because they're going to decide whether you're competent over time. But what you can start with and what matters most and what actually makes people more likely to listen to you is warmth. Everyone knows someone who they think is very competent, but because they feel like they're a jerk or they don't really care about me or I don't just even like that person, they're just not going to listen to them, no matter how smart they think they might be. They just won't take their advice. So as a leader, and you have a team and you want that team to do well, you want to achieve particular things, even as a teacher in a classroom, I would say start with warmth and just to know warmth is not a weakness. So some of the things to take into consideration is that oftentimes as a leader, you think that your job leading a team is first to scrutinize their performance. So many young administrators that I've worked with, that I continue to work with, they come into administration, they come into being a leader in a school, and they think that the first thing they need to do is build competence by telling teachers what to do. Is they'll know I'm in charge once they see what I'm telling them to do, or I'm going to find all the things that I think teachers should be doing that I read about in a book, oftentimes didn't even do myself, but oftentimes read in a book. I'm going to make sure every teacher is doing that. Whether that be putting their lesson plans in a particular template, whether that be doing their whole units in a particular way, or doing this many duties, or whatever you think teachers should be doing. And I'll put should in these numbers because so many of the things we make teachers do actually don't seem to have any real impact on student learning or the experience students have in a classroom. But that's the first thing that many leaders do, and it kills their warmth. And it also inevitably, sadly, ends up killing their competence or their perceived competence. Actually, what I'm telling you, I'm talking to you, I'm going to say, instead of scrutinizing, see your people. Let your people be seen before you even attempt to scrutinize anything. Meaning, let them know that you're actually interested in seeing what it is they do. Ask them questions. I've talked about it before. Ask them what gets in their way. Ask them questions about their work. Ask them what is it that you could help with that would make their job easier or make it easier for them to do the things that are important. Let people know that you're actually interested in them, interested in their perspective. Let people know that's humility, first of all. It lets people know that, hey, I actually don't know everything that you do on a day-to-day basis. I've never been in your classroom. I've actually never taught the kids that you're teaching right now. I've never been in this school, in this country, or this particular city, or this particular grade level, or this particular subject. So no matter where I go, I have something to learn from my team. And this applies to every single business. Everybody is doing work and experiencing things in a different way than you. So as a leader, one of the first ways to get warmth is to let people know you care about them by wondering what it is. You want to see them. You want to know them. You want to ask them questions. People immediately start to believe, well, this person actually cares about me. And the flip side of it, it's much easier to go from there to people believing you're competent than the other way. Because you know about them, because you've taken interest in their work, because you've gotten to know their struggles and what they want to achieve, because of all that, when it does come time for you to give advice, people are more likely to listen because this person knows me. That advice might be coming from a great spot. It's not just scrutiny, they care. And some people will say, well, that's a trick. It's not a trick. It's real. Because also, when someone asks you questions and is asking you for your advice and your perspective, we naturally start to believe, well, that's a competent person because they are asking questions, because they know their own limitations. They know they don't know everything, and they're giving me the ability to help them learn. We naturally start to feel that they're competent. Think about it. Even as a teacher in a classroom, especially for secondary students, asking the kids how they're feeling about the class, asking kids what's working for them in a classroom, asking the kids, hey, what didn't work in that unit, or what's helping, or what do you feel like I can do to help you guys a little bit more? That builds warmth. The kids trust you. They start to trust, oh, this teacher actually wants to know what I'm feeling like. This teacher actually is interested in my opinion on things. And they know they might not be right. They might not be the expert. But then when you take some of their advice, when you try some things out that the kids are telling you in the classroom, then all of a sudden they also become more receptive to what you have to say because they start to trust you. This teacher's interested in not just doing what they've always done and what they want to do, but also interested in seeing whether or not that's working for us, whether or not we need something different, interested in our experience. So the warmth leads to competence, and the warmth itself, when starting with that, actually displays an amazing amount of strength and confidence in yourself. The ability to ask questions and to be humble is a sign of confidence, is a sign that I'm okay not knowing right now because I'm going to find out. And I feel very comfortable and not insecure at all. And oftentimes, the attempt of young administrators, people to come in and instantly want to start scrutinizing, is insecurity. They oftentimes feel, a leader oftentimes feels that if I'm not telling people what they're doing wrong, then I'm not leading. And that's a mistake. The next, caring also doesn't mean there's a lack of standards. Many people think that, well, if I care about people and get interested in them and I'm all humble and I'm being warm, then I'm not holding up a high standard. That's not the case at all. Not the case at all. Actually, the leadership coach, Jocko Willink, was a Navy SEAL. And in the Navy SEALs, what he said is that he says that one of the key things that is most important is to maintain good relationships with your fellow Navy SEALs. Now, if there's not, I don't know if there's a group that has more of a reputation for high standards and standards that have a really, if they're not met, people die, right? If the relationships are important in that context, then they have to be very important in all others as well. And caring about someone, wanting to know about them, wanting to maintain a relationship with them, wanting to let them know that you actually care about their development, it doesn't speak to low standards. Actually, what it speaks to is let's all get there. It actually makes it more likely that other people feel like you're on their side and they feel more able to take risk and to try. Oftentimes people don't try anything. If people are overly scrutinized and people feel like they could get in trouble or they have multiple bosses, they're all telling them different things, they oftentimes don't do anything because they're scared of getting in trouble. And if someone is scared about getting in trouble, if someone feels that there's only scrutiny, that there's no warmth in this place, and no one actually cares about my growth, the funny thing is they usually will do just enough not to get in trouble. They will work in a way to keep their head down and keep themselves from trying anything because it's not a safe environment. People who care about your development give you advice, give you feedback that's safe to take, and you feel like oftentimes you want to work for them. And that leads to this other idea that motivation through connection is what I found in the organizations that I've worked for, and when I've gotten great feedback from people. So some of the best things have been that people worked harder in schools that I was leading in because I believed in them, because they felt that I cared about them. There were so many ideas that I got credit for as a leader that, I didn't come up with the idea. So much of the work was the teachers, or our school did very good or improved in scores or anything like that. But it was the people in the building. Oftentimes they were led by students, led by teachers, what have you. But that motivation came from establishing a connection, establishing a trust. I'm not going to say family because people overuse that idea of family. I don't think work necessarily needs to be a family, but it's like a team that's striving for everyone on that team to be better so we can achieve a goal, right? It's the theater troupe that they want everybody to put on their best acting performance so they can have a great performance as a whole. It's like a team, a basketball team. You don't want one really weak player. You want every person playing to their top. You want a team full of people who, when they come in, everyone is giving their all and everyone is supporting everybody else because we all want to accomplish a goal together. And I think that's essential. And when there's a connection and a feeling of belonging, people are more likely to be motivated. As a student, I had a German class that I just did not feel any kind of connection in. I did not feel that the teacher wanted me there. I did not want to go to that class. I did not want to go to that class, right? Whereas another class where, subject was not really my thing, it was a biology class, but I like to go. I like to go to that class because of the teacher and the feeling that I gave and the feeling that, hey, that person wanted me to be successful. Even in a class that I wasn't that interested in, they taught it well. They really were interested in the subject and they really cared about the kids in the class. That made all the difference. It helped with motivation. Even the days where I just didn't quite want to go to work, even the days where I just didn't quite want to go into that class, something about that person, the connection that they had with everybody made me be like, okay, I'm going to put in some work today. I'm going to go for it. And then when I got there, usually I was okay. We can create that by making people feel connected, safe, and that they're cared for. But only if we start with warmth. Only if we stop seeing warmth as a weakness and warmth as something that truly builds influence and builds our own competence. So there it is. See your people before scrutinizing them. Lean into warmth and caring, knowing that it's not caring for your people doesn't mean you have low standards. You can have them both. And remember that you're more likely to motivate people through a connection, through warmth, through creating an environment that's obviously caring. And as always, the advice is free and you don't have to take it. Y'all be good.